Hi, it's me, Justin Garnett. I want to tell you about a dream I had last night. It's a dream I've been having off and on for my whole adult life. The dream really bothers me, more than some of my others, despite its comparatively tame imagery and subject matter. I used to wake from these dreams and suck down a couple of cigarettes, but I gave up smoking over a decade ago. When I close my eyes, it's as if I'm still in the dream. I'm walking down the street delivering newspapers. I throw one to a familiar house, and then move on to the next house in line. Like so many children in the Midwest, I had delivered papers while growing up. I can't remember how old I was when I stopped delivering newspapers, but that's not really important. In the dream, I run out of papers at the end of my route and start to walk back home. As I get closer to our house, a large, ivy-covered brick rectangle on Broadway, I begin to wonder if today will be the day I'll have the courage to tell my mother I want to quit the route, that I can't stand delivering papers, that I have aspirations of my own, things I'd rather be doing. Right as I realize that today will probably not be the day that I summon up that elusive courage, I realize I'm no longer a child. Last night in my dream I was 33 years old and married, still delivering newspapers 4 miles from the hospital where I was born in a thumbprint of a town in the American Midwest. For years, when I woke from this dream, I would think it bizarre, but would return to sleep, without really wondering to get at what it was all about. I've come to realize over time that it's about a lot of things. I have a general impression that when most American kids get a paper route, they're doing it more than anything to get a feel for life in the real world. The world of business, of finance, to learn how to manage money. For me, it was different. The paper route was serious. It was one of our mother's primary sources of income, and I had to do it. In all the years in which I delivered newspapers, sometimes as many as 4 routes and several substitute routes, all the miles of walking in the most oppressive heat and bitter cold Missouri could muster, I never received so much as $1, or to my recollection, a thank you from my mother. It's also linked to the loneliness I felt as a child, who was taken out of school in 6th grade and never returned until college, and the realities of life in the unpredictable, emotionally and physically castigating environment of my mother's house. Anyway, this is what that dream means to me when I really think about it. That feeling of powerlessness, like I have no agency in my life. That dream, that paper route, they still hold me in that place, in that house. In last night's iteration of the paper route dream, I wrapped it up with the thought that finally I was going to tell my mother I couldn't do it any longer. As I walked home, carrying my empty satchel, I decided I was going to tell her I was done with the route, that I was going to get a job of my own and live a life of my own. I stopped walking and closed my eyes and began thinking of the words I would say to her. And as I formulated those sentences silently in my head, I realized I'd awakened, and I was trying, as a 33-year-old man, lying less than a foot from his sleeping wife of 9 years, how to explain to a mother he hadn't spoken to in nearly 10 years that he couldn't deliver newspapers for her for his entire life. And now that I think about it, this dream isn't just symbolic of how my childhood continues to drag on me like some unpleasant anchor, but also about my feelings of guilt for eventually cutting my mother out of my life.